Question, the member for Stormont-Dundas-South Glengarry.
Speaker, through my question is to the Minister of Training Colleges and Universities. Minister, literacy is a basic skill I know we all feel is essential for any individual to master in order to become a confident and productive member of society. In fact, literacy remains a key skill that Ontarians need to compete for jobs in today's economy. Minister, what commitment has this government made to the investment of literacy education in this province?
Mr.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. And obviously, literacy is a key part of our educational agenda over here, and I'm very pleased that this year the Literacy and Basic Skills program, including academic upgrading, helped over 61,000 learners, with 72% of exiting learners going on to further education and employment. There is a concern, though, Mr. Speaker. Due to the federal stimulus funding which came to the province of Ontario, this past year we were able to provide service to an extra 13,000 individuals. Unfortunately, Mr. Speaker, this stimulus funding is coming to an end at the end of March. And this government, and I call on all members of the legislature, are calling on the federal government to continue this funding and to recognize, Mr. Speaker, that the effects of the recession are not going to somehow magically end on March 31st of next year. We've been
You got to stand up for Ontario.
Supplementary.
Understand it, the stimulus funding from the federal government not only affects literacy funding, but a whole range of other programs. I am deeply concerned for students in this province, and certainly in my riding, who have trouble finding work, which, as we know, helps them to pay for their schooling and living expenses during the academic year.
I would just remind the honourable members who are offering interjections into the chamber today that if they're so engaged in some of these issues, perhaps during the morning question period pitches, they should be pitching for these questions so that they could directly ask these questions. Minister, please continue.
Minister, according to statistics,
just remind the honourable members on all sides within the House. I don't need help from the member from Sault Ste. Marie, I believe that was. Please continue.
According to Statistics Canada, the unemployment rate of full-time Canadian students between the ages of 15 and 24 years of age was reported in 2009 to be over 18%. Speaker, through you to the minister, what are you doing to help students find employment?
Again, Mr. Speaker, I've been very proud that we invested this year over $90 million to help 107,000 young people benefit from summer employment opportunities. But once again, Mr. Speaker, due to the partnership with the federal government, part of this funding came from federal stimulus funding, which they are threatening to end at the end of March. And in fact, Mr. Speaker, if they do pull it, it could jeopardize 37,000 young workers who would not be able to benefit from our summer employment program. So once again, Mr. Speaker, we appreciate the support of the federal government over the last 2 years, but I think it's incumbent upon this legislature, every member of this legislature, to send a very strong signal to Ottawa to say that the effects of the recession in Ontario are not going to end on March 31st of next year, and we urge them to continue support for Ontario workers and for Ontario young people. Thank you.
The member from Whitby, Oshawa.
My question is to the Minister of Transportation. Mr. Speaker,